of grieving for myself as well as my family. If you don't know, I did lose my mother last week, and I certainly appreciate all the love that each and every one of you showed. You know, whether it was through cards, prayers, flowers, thoughts, whatever you did to help my family and us go through this grieving. I certainly appreciate it, and I can not tell you just how much it really meant a lot to me and my family. So, having said all of that, I do want to thank each and every one of you for being on this call tonight. Like I said earlier, I hope it can be a brief meeting. Um, just simply because several of us going to be listening in on another call here at 7 o'clock. So, but we want to take as much time as we need to handle any kind of piece of anything that anyone may have on their minds or whatever. So, so thanks for joining. And at this time, I also want to recognize officers who will be joining or may have already joined in on the call here. I want to recognize First Vice President, Ms. Joyce Coleman. Recognize my Second Vice President, Mr. Todd Hagens. I recognize our Third Vice, Ms. Pam Harmon, as well as Mr. Kent Blevin, who is our Secretary, and Mr. Jerry Blake, who is our Treasurer. Also on this call with us tonight is our Vice President of the 5th Congressional District, Ms. Betsy Wells, as well as Ms. Joyce Gladstone, President of the Democratic Women here in Cleveland County. Before we begin, I would like to take a few moments just to just give thanks and reflect on all the blessings that we've had and that we continue to have. Just to reflect on all our frontline workers, doctors, police officers, firemen, everyone who's out doing services for us. Just want to just take time and just reflect and just think about our leaders in Washington, D.C. as well. You know, just ask God to just bless them and give them wisdom and guidance and the decision making that they facing each and every day. So if you just join me for a few minutes, for a few moments of reflection, a moment of silence. So. Thank you. Now, I'd like to turn it over to Mr. Jerry Blake, who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's make the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now, thank you, Mr. Blake, for that. Now we're going to turn it over to Mr. Kent. He's going to give us a review of the agenda.
All right, I want to welcome everybody. I'm glad you're here for this meeting. This is our first official executive committee meeting of the new year. And we ended last year with some unofficial Zoom workshops and candidate greetings. In lieu of formal minutes for those, we have posted videos of those meetings on our YouTube channel. If you're interested in reviewing them, there's information on this slide about that. The chief action for action item for our meeting tonight is the election of 3 people to vacant seats that are on the North Carolina Democratic Party State Executive Committee, what we sometimes refer to as the SEC for short. And if we have the time, we'll have a short treasurer's report, and then we'll look at the new election cycle. We're just starting a 2-year election cycle, and we'll look at the ballots and the races that are ahead and how we can be involved as a party. I will say that that the meeting will not last past 7 o'clock for sure, because there's a meeting that starts then. We'll try to wrap it up in about 45 minutes or so. When it is time to vote, of course, we're working in Zoom, and I think by now many of you are familiar with Zoom. There are some, I'll let you know, because there's a way that we'll handle the vote, and I'll let you know about that when we get there. But in the meantime, if you're not speaking, then mute your, there's a little microphone, you can mute yourself, because that will cut out background noise. And then if you do need to speak, you can unmute yourself. And during the meeting, if you want to, it says here, use the chat box. There's a chat box. There's a reactions thing. You can, use thumbs up or heart or all the things that are there. So, and if you're on the phone, use the *9 if you want to speak. Yeah, let me just ask if there are any questions about any of that, any comments or questions, reactions, as far as any of that. If not, then I'm going to turn this over to Jerry Blake for the treasurer's report.
Got to turn my microphone back on. I apologize for that. You see on the screen our treasurer's report. Basically, we have $352.16 that came from people who pledged their money for the development and posting of our website. And Pam has continued to work on that. Routinely, we pay $40 a month for storage. We have on hand $2,936.04, and that's about the size of where we are right now. Thank you. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them when the time for questions comes, I mean. All right. Well, that's my show.
Okay, so thank you, Mr. Blake, and thank you, Kent, for that. Now, the main reason that we're here tonight is that we need to elect 3 delegates to go to the State Executive Committee, which is going to be held on the 27th of February, next Saturday at 1 o'clock. We have 4 seats that 4 delegates that we can send. I am technically, just by being the chair, a member, but we do need to elect 3 additional people to be able to participate in next week's election. This will be just a short-term period for this particular case, because we will have to elect 3 new delegates at our convention in April. So this is a short window, of course, just so that we can make sure that we can fulfill our obligations as far as the state requires or want us to have. And so we're going to be introducing you to several candidates that we as officers have looked at and have asked these individuals to serve in this capacity. But we're also going to open up the floor there if there's anyone else that would like to serve or want to have their name put in the candidate for the possibility of serving as well, then we also want that to happen as well. So, but these are 3 candidates that we have looked at and that we have asked them if they will be willing to serve, and they have said that they will be willing to serve, and I think they will be 3 excellent delegates to the State Executive Committee. And here shortly, you'll start seeing some slides and their qualifications that they have, and we'll see that they fit the mold. So again, Angela Wood. And Angela, as you see, she's been an attorney for over 22 years, representing the people of Cleveland County. Most people know her with the Social Security, Social Services here in Cleveland County. She put her name in the hat for district attorney here in the 27th B district, which is a really red district, and we all know that. But she did put her name out there and did a tremendous job, and I applaud her for putting her name out there, and hope that she don't shy away and go at it again. But you see her education. She's a University of North Carolina Chapel Hill graduate, William & Mary as well, in the high school, Kings Mountain High. So Angela, thank you so much for putting your name out there, and hopefully you'll be able to serve. So thank you.
Of course, if she gets appointed judge, we'll relieve her.
Yes. Exactly.
That would be the hope in the future.
and
hear you.
And here you see Miss Laura Cummings, who is a licensed professional engineer. Of course, you see her education, all her qualifications. It's just tremendous amount of work that she does, and a very active member of the Democratic Party as well, active in the Democratic Women. And you see her education as well. She's a Chapel Hill graduate as well, NC State, and proud Burns Bulldog. All right. Thank you so much, Ms. Laura, for willing to serve if elected. Thank you. And Mr. Matthew McSwain. Matthew, I'm just getting to know Matthew. Matthew is seemed to be a fine gentleman. From what I hear from others, just a fine gentleman. You see his education, where his interests. Matthew wants to be involved, and I think this is be a good opportunity for him to be involved and to see some things early on, and hopefully get involved and stay involved, and who knows, maybe even leave the party at some point here in the near future or somewhere down the road. But he's a sharp individual. Again, I think these three individuals are fantastic choices, but again, want to also have the floor if there's others that may be interested. But these are the three that your executive committee is recommending, and if there's no opposition, the chair will entertain a motion to accept them as the temporary or delegates to the SEC.
I so move.
Were brined yesterday to help prevent any ice from sticking to the roads. Truck drivers today said the roads were fine.
I second the motion, Mr. Chairman. I'm Jerry Blake.
Okay.
With Pam, was that you that made that motion?
No, that was Evelyn Moorhead.
Oh, thank you so much.
Okay. So it has been moved and seconded that we accept these three nominees to serve the remainder term for the SEC membership. If all prepared to vote, vote by raising your hand.
Oh, wait, no, we have a way to vote. Sorry to interrupt, but so there are no more nominations?
We're voting on a motion to declare them elected by.
So we're voting on the motion to accept these nominations. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm just trying to take minutes, so I don't want to I'm trying to run the Zoom and take your minutes too.
Well, I think the motion is to declare them elected
by acclamation.
Yeah, I couldn't think of the word.
Acclamation.
When you get as old as I am, you'll know what I mean.
If you wish to vote, I do have a mechanism that we can do it. I can put a poll up on the screen and everybody can just vote. And it would be worded in a way that we would say, do you wish to vote for these three?
We're waiting.
So I just launched that and everybody can vote on the screen.
Oh, shoot, I can't get submit.
So far, 15 of 22 have voted. 16.
I don't think I'm supposed to vote because I'm not actually.
Yes, I should have clarified.
Yeah.
This is for executive committee members, which means precinct chairs, vice chairs, the officers of the CCDP, or elected public office holders that are Cleveland County Democrats.
Auxiliary
Yeah.
and Betsy.
And Betsy. Okay, I think we've got 16 out of 22. So yeah, I see that. My vote was actually for Steve. Okay, so I'm going to show the results. Everybody should be able to see that. So it's 100%.
All right. So thank you so much for everyone for voting, and to the 3 members. We'll be sending you a link here pretty soon if you don't already have it for the meeting here shortly. Now I'm gonna turn this over to Pam, and she's gonna enlighten us on some things that's what's ahead and what we're gonna be looking at.
I have placed the link in the chat already for the meeting that begins at 7 o'clock. Everyone is invited. It'll be the candidates for NCDP offices, but the 3 new SEC members, and congratulations, by the way, we strongly encourage you to go because it's your chance to get to know the people that you will be voting on February the 27th. Okay, so let's move on here. First, let's get our bearings, where we are and what's ahead. Recall that we're beginning a new 2-year cycle leading up to the November 2022 general election. Take note that our party does different things in odd years and even years. In odd years, such as the current 2021, our initial focus is on renewing party organization at the precinct, county, and district levels. For example, electing officers for new 2-year terms at precinct meetings and conventions. Then with the renewed team in place, we turn our attention to developing a strategic plan, raising money to build a war chest, and encouraging good candidates to run. A word about planning. Typically, the time for that is just after the county convention in odd years, when officers and other executive committee members are beginning their new terms. And about candidate recruiting, recall that before the 2020 general election, candidate filing began in December the year before, and North Carolina primaries were held in March. We should note the possibility that the election calendar may be altered for 2022 due to a delay in receiving population data from the U.S. Census Bureau that is needed for redistricting. We'll keep you updated as more information becomes available. Okay, so let's go to the slide about year 2, please. Okay, then in 2022, we began executing our campaign plan in earnest, using what we've learned from past campaigns and emphasizing get out the vote. In the party, we use a schedule of formal meetings to get organizational work done. These include our formal precinct meetings and conventions, and you see here the schedule for them as established by our state party. This is the odd year in the election cycle during which we will elect or re-elect new officers at the precinct, party, and district levels. The precinct meetings are coming up fast in mid-March. Officers are working now to figure out how to hold them during the pandemic, while the state party is recommending Zoom where possible. We expect to be talking with you precinct chairs about what might work for each of you and to have a plan for precinct meetings in the coming days. We're going to offer to run Zoom for you so that you can easily hold meetings virtually without needing to learn Zoom yourselves. You will receive more information on that soon. We also most likely will hold the April 10 county convention by Zoom. Okay. Now let's take a look at the ultimate goal of our 2-year cycle, winning the offices coming open. Remember that candidate filing is expected to start in December this year. The marquee race is the U.S. Senate seat being vacated by retiring Republican Senator Richard Burr. Democrats would like nothing better than finally flipping the seat after several unsuccessful tries. Some candidates have already announced: former Congressman Mark Walker on the Republican side and Jeff Jackson and Erica Smith on the Democratic side. But there is interesting chatter about other potential candidates, including former North Carolina Chief Justice on the Democratic side, Sherry Beasley. She's said to be seriously considering the race. Josh Stein's name is mentioned, but others say he's waiting to run for governor. Mentioned on the Republican side are Laura Trump, who has actually been endorsed by Lindsey Graham, and former Governor Pat McCrory. Now that would be an interesting primary race. At the district level, we've seen no sign Representative Virginia Foxx is going to retire. There continues to be speculation about what Tim Moore's plans are. At the local level, you can be sure things are going to be heated with races for sheriff, clerk of court, and 2 county commission seats. To my knowledge, none of these current office holders has made a formal announcement of plans to seek re-election or not, except for Mitzi Johnson, who plans to retire at the end of her term from her position of clerk of Superior Court. Clerk of Superior Court is an office that has been held by Democrats for a long time. We especially need to encourage good Democrats to step up and run for this seat in the primaries. Let's do our parts and start now to make sure we have good candidates running for every office with an opening. Thank you. Now back to you, Jerry.
Well, thank you. There are lots of things that are important about elections, as Pam has described, but one of the most important is some money to do things that need to be done and to encourage voters to know the candidates and to vote for them. So I would mention to you our Act Blue program. It is on the web. You can see the instructions for how to get to it right here on your screen, and we encourage you to use it to make contributions. I will say to you that one of the great things about Act Blue is that it gives you the opportunity to put in place all the information I need as your treasurer to file state reports. That has been a challenge over the last several years, and I didn't have any idea what a challenge it was going to be when I agreed to try to do this job. But if you make your contributions when you can, no matter how small or how big, it's going to be helpful to generate records we need to file our state reports. And I thank you. We'll turn it back to Curtis.
Okay.
May I interrupt just a second, Curtis?
Yes.
Just to let you know that I did just place a link to our Act Blue page in the chat if anybody wants to copy it from there. Thank you.
I would say also it's especially important in that precincts know they can make the contribution through their precinct members in the same way.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Pam and Jerry, for that. I might have misspoke early on and talking about Angela as far as district attorney, I should have been saying judgeship of 27B. So I hope she do run for district attorney, but I might have misspoken. If I did, I'm sorry. But if there's any questions or anything about anything that anybody need to have answered, now is the time to go ahead and ask these questions, of course, and because we have pretty much finished the purpose of this meeting. But if anyone have anything that they want to share or find out, ask, then now would be the time to do it. Can there any hands up? Anything?
This,
Hello? Who?
hello,
Okay, we're listening.
Curtis, this is Betsy.
Uh-huh.
I just wanted to, before we left, just thank everybody for being here. And from the district level, this is going on in all different counties across our district and across the West and across the state. It is very important that we turn out and we really try to find new members to come to these precinct meetings and then to be delegates to the county convention and then on to the district this year. Just to look at fundraising and how it can be done when we're in pandemics. And I have some ideas, but I'm just willing to work with any of you and all of you. And congratulations to the 3 members that will be on the SEC force that will be voting and joining Curtis and me and voting on the 27th. But it's so good to see all your faces and see your names, and just looking forward to working through this election cycle also. And let's send Tim Moore somewhere else.
Yes, ma'am.
Florida.
Please.
Florida.
Texas.
Well, I started to say something, but I won't.
Okay, is there anybody else have anything else?
Well, I would like
I will
to,
put, go ahead. Go ahead, Jerry. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, your officers want to encourage all the precinct leadership to be thinking about what the executive committee can do to help strengthen your needs, fulfill your needs, strengthen your ability to fulfill your needs in the precinct. We're here to help you.
Good
Anybody?
job, gang.
All right.
Thank you, Pat, for all your hard work as usual.
Well, as we get ready to close out, we're going to throw out some thanks to Miss Pat and to everyone for participating and for doing everything that you do to make these meetings happen. Kent, thanks again for working the system. You and Pam and Mr. Blake, thank you so much for your reports and stuff. And thanks again for everybody that participated, and you will be hearing from us soon. And this is the way how we do our next meeting, of course, Zoom. So
Thanks, Curtis.
But thanks again for the flowers, the cards, the thoughts, the prayers, and everything. And again, thank you. I really mean it from the bottom of my heart. Thanks.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Yeah. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.
Jerry, where'd you get that ugly cow?
Leave.
Good night.